can I have another wine?
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
If you want it, just come get it.
A Giggle Gang podcast.
Just be myself.
For fuck's sake.
You know, sometimes people pay me to say ridiculous shit, and sometimes I just say it for free.
That's hectic.
You're listening to the Giggle Gang podcast.
No.
Really?
They think so though.
Oh, they just don't vocalise it.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like. Yeah.
Do they do it
really
with
obvious?
looks? Do they do it with looks rather than words?
Well, no, they do it with words. They're just not that explicit. They don't say you're a disappointment. They say, "Oh, have you had any gigs recently?" And I go, "Oh, well, I did one 2 days ago, and I have another one next Saturday." And they go, "Would you not be giving up on that now?" Which is their way of saying, "We spent a lot of money on your education. What are you doing?" So it's clearly you could have had a job. Your sister my sister has a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like when you speak to your parents, because they still live in Ireland, I assume?
Yes.
They're forever telling you about the successes of your siblings?
No, but that's because we're not a successful family.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, every time I ring my mum, it's like, oh, you know, Nicholas is doing this and Emma's doing that. Ooh, fantastic. What are you up to?
Yeah, you see, I come from like a very rural. We're like working class, but not like. We come from like a very rural like farm. So when people think of working class, they think of like estates.
Okay.
But we're like middle of nowhere. Like you look out the front window of my house back in Mayo, there's literally a forest. We're across the road from a forest. We are miles away from everyone. So like...
Is this where you like grew up and had your childhood?
Yeah. So this is like... There was a lot of just me watching TV. And because I was the youngest by a good bit, a lot of me just watching TV, playing outside on my own. But the thing is that like... The expectation when you're from that world is... It's not really that...
No one expects anything from
Yeah,
you.
so like my generation, my sister, who's the oldest, was the first to ever go to university. So like...
Really?
Yeah, my dad finished school when he finished primary school. So that was it. So I had no secondary education at all. My mum went up to junior cert, which is the British GCSE,
Okay.
which I don't know what the Australian equivalent to the GCSE
We don't really
is.
have one. Like, you just fucking go to school.
Yeah,
And then you finish. There's no like GCSE A-level bullshit. You just go to school and then you finish. And some people don't make it, but
what's the university criteria then? What do you need to get
you
into?
have to get an OP score. So it's different in every state in Australia. So the country is
Yeah, but
split
the
up
state, but each Australian state is huge.
Yeah, so
Like,
like
it's... You can
Queensland.
fit out 15 Englands into Western Australia.
No, well, you can fit 26 Englands into the whole country, and into Queensland you can fit 6. So, yeah.
Is Queensland where you're from?
Yeah.
So this is like Brisbane area.
Well, Brisbane is this tiny little speck on the edge. Queensland is this entire.
No,
landmass.
I've seen the map of Australia down into counties.
I've seen that map.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you look at like the counties or whatever, it's always like these because it's so huge, and like Western Australia is just clearly a bit of like
they've chopped it.
There's no point marking this out into anything else anyway. Look, it's nothing Perth. All right, we don't need to map this into anything more. I'm very sorry for all the Western Australians
we don't have that many Western Australian listeners, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, but go hard on them. Perth is my least favourite place in Australia, and I've never been. I just hate the vibe. It's just too far away from everything, and it's
the most
too hot.
isolated country in the world, I believe.
Isolated city.
Oh yeah, well it's obviously not the most isolated country.
We are pretty isolated. Like, it's just anything goes in Australia, but like anything goes up to a point. I feel like the police in Australia do so much more than the police in the UK, but then, like, for example...
What do you mean, like juggling magic tricks?
No.
What are you talking about?
They're just like, they're arresting more people, they're giving more people hassle and grief, but then it's like anything goes with the police. But on TV before we were watching, and someone said shit on an advertisement, and Hazel just goes, oh, they said shit? I was like, yeah, what of it? Like, it doesn't matter. Whereas here, it'd be letters to the BBC, how dare you say shit on the television. You know, these bloody southern idiots would just be up in arms. Can't
So it's
behave
like
that.
stop and search and stuff are really like, police do whatever they want. Just
Yeah.
that's how they catch people.
They had a
By
crackdown.
stopping suspicious looking
They had a crackdown on bikies, which are
bikies.
motorcycle gangs, yeah.
Oh, I love it.
And basically the rule was...
Hills Angels, mate.
Yeah, well, if you're riding a motorbike, you can just be stopped and searched top to toe as many times as they like. And people were getting arrested left, right and centre for possession of all sorts of things. Drugs, weapons. They were having a go at people whose motorbike exhausts were too loud. If your exhaust was too loud and you're in a certain area, pull you over, fine you for that. It worked because the motorcycle gangs dwindled very quickly.
Do you have any of those shows, or have you watched any of the shows here that are like Road Wars, or
like Highway Patrol,
like cops
Okay,
in America?
yeah. It's called Highway Patrol.
Yeah. The problem with those shows is I don't like them because I find they make me way more right wing than I am. Because you end up watching them kind of go, hooray, the police! Come on, the police! Get that man! And you're like, oh my god, I don't like this. This is like going short stop to be like Jacob Rees-Mogg going, well, poor people should be searched. I mean, you don't know what they're up to. That's why they've ended up poor. Steal bread for your starving family. I don't let them starve. Have the bread for yourself. Get a real job.
Where are they getting their money from? They're poor. If you're wearing track pants, you deserve to be searched. And I'm wearing track pants now, so I'm waiting to be searched. I've not been searched in this country at all, which is surprising.
Yeah, well,
because I'm always wearing track pants and up to no good.
Yeah, that is true. They'll figure you out yet. They just don't have you on the database yet.
They do. I feel like they do. They fingerprint me when I fly back in and that. So,
yeah.
Cause
They'll have a video of you chugging it, downing a full bottle of Buckfast and then throwing it up in a Weatherspoon's toilet. They'll get that on file.
That did happen.
Because I feel like you're going to be telling everyone. I
proud.
was straight in the door and you're like, look at this video.
It's because you're Irish. I'm not sending it to my mum. I mean, like,
She'll know.
Look at the disgrace of the son.
Does she listen to this?
No. My parents stopped supporting me a long time ago.
When I was 6. Just sent me out into the outback.
I just say things that upset them. So they've just stopped. But no. So you're from the middle of nowhere in Ireland, right?
Yes.
So when you were a kid, like, what was your realistic ambition? Like, did you want to be doing what you're doing now?
I got to say no, but I wanted to be a footballer.
Okay.
And the fact that I couldn't play didn't stand in the way of that dream one little bit until I was like, it wasn't even... I must have been about 27 years old by the time I was watching a football match on TV one day and thought, something, I don't think I'm going to make it. It's really depressing because I'm 33 years old, right?
30.
Yeah, I know, the worst age for an Irish person to be. It's unbelievable. Just the worst age. But the thing about that is that, I watch football and, films now, and I still think everyone in them is older than me. I still think they're all adults on TV.
Really?
That's why they're on. That's why, yeah.
You watch it through the eyes of a child.
Well, not like that, but if ever it just flat out dawns on me, the moment pops into my head, that actor's 24 or something. It's always that really depressing moment of oh no, I'm still kind of aspiring to any day now somebody will be like, you're the kid we need. You're the kid we need.
You are very smart.
I'll go to a Manchester United match and they'll be like, oh no, Lukaku's injured. Who are we going to bring on? We've just realised we forgot our subs. You there, sir. Whereas now, in reality, if that actually happened, it'd be a fucking nightmare. It'd be awful. I'd be like, I don't really have the right shoes on, guys. I shouldn't play. To be honest, I'm
actually wearing sandals.
I stubbed my toe the other day, and I really don't think that I should do this.
So why is it that in this country or this area of the world, football is such a big sport, right? So many people are fans of football. However, everyone thinks that they're gonna be a footballer. Like, I don't get it. Because, like, the sport is so big, but there's only so many teams. Like, for the amount of people that are interested in sport to then the amount of people that actually get to play football is, like, the percentages are way off. But everyone that is a fan thinks they're going to do it.
Yeah, but you can't, that's very negative of you.
Well, you've
got to have a dream.
I'm a fan of the UFC, but I know I'm never going to fight in the UFC.
But you can't play the percentages with your dreams. You can't be like, oh no.
But it's such a common dream.
So many people like football. I'm just going to have to play curling because I'll be on the pitch. I have represented Ireland in dodgeball.
Have you?
That is a fact about me.
Whereabouts?
I played one tournament. It was in Manchester, but it was international. It was the Six Nations. I was on the Ireland B team.
Okay.
And like the only reason I got on that team
is because you're so small.
It's because there's 12 people. I'll let that slide. We had an A team and a B team. We needed 6 people for each team. Only like 10 people in Ireland play dodgeball. We needed 12. I was in the squad. So I played.
How did you go in the tournament?
Oh, we lost every game. And just to emphasize, just in case there's any confusion, when I say every game, to lose every match, a match comprises many games. We didn't just lose every match. We lost every game on the way to losing every match.
Who won? Who was the best team?
Oh, England.
England,
yeah.
That's always the way, isn't it?
In the World Cup.
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying that Austria won the World Cup.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was like the national competition to then go to the world one? The one in Manchester, is that what it was?
No.
You were sort of like picking out your representative to go and play against.
No, not really. Although they did have a World Cup qualifying, so it was like there was 6 teams in it, and I think 4 of them got to go to the World Cup.
And
so
you
it
were
wasn't
not
like
one of them.
No, I think we might have sent a team to the mixed because there was men's, women's, and mixed.
Okay.
So I think we might have sent.
But
I only played one tournament.
What was the conditions of the mix? How many women did you have to have?
Well, on the
3 of each.
Yeah, it's 3 of each.
Okay. Because I remember when I used to play mixed netball, right? There was just the caveat.
I thought you were going to say mixed martial arts game. I thought,
no,
you shouldn't be fighting women. That's not a mixed gender. That's not a mixed gender game. I mean, I'm all for equality, and I would argue if the women want to fight in the men's, that's fine, but shouldn't go the other way around.
You can't have women fight men. But when I played mixed netball, right, which I know you were surprised by, but I was very talented, great, wing attack. There was a caveat that you had to have at least one boy on your team, right? And there was one day where we came, right, and there was no boys on the other team. So we had 2, so I had to step in and play against my own team.
Did you win?
We won. I won.
Did you smash it as well?
No, I wasn't even that good. The only reason I was playing mixed netball is there was a girl that I went to school with, right? And I really wanted to go to the school formal with her. And she played mixed netball. And I was like, well, the only way that I can get in with her is like you were saying before, not have a conversation with her and ask her, but sign on to a full season of mixed netball and go with her.
That's so as well like an American film where like, the way to get this girl is to sign up to be a cheerleader so I can hang out with her. Like, no, mate, you want to be the quarterback.
The most frustrating
if you're being the star of the Aussie rules team, whereas where all the guys that she fancied were, whereas you're like, I'm playing mixed netball with her.
The most frustrating thing is that I didn't even want her to be my girlfriend or whatever. I just wanted her to come to the school formal with me so I wasn't alone.
First of all, that's beautifully pathetic.
I know.
Also, the school formal, it makes it sound so Victorian.
What do you call it? A prom? What do you call it here?
Oh, well, I think it probably is prom here. In Ireland, it's the Debs.
The Debs.
Yeah, the Debs.
That's exciting. So this is like your like last year of school.
Yeah.
You'll dress up and...
I think it comes from like debutante ball.
Okay.
But then over time... So you go to the Debs.
Did you have a date for the Debs?
I did have a date for the Debs. But I very much...
How did you get your date for the Debs?
Well, I just asked her, but
What? You can do that?
no. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, and if you're watching wherever you are, Mandy, I don't want this to be.
My name is Mandy.
Don't want this to be in any way negative on her part. I only asked her. I didn't ask her because, this is a girl that I'm in love with, or this is a girl I'm plucking up the courage to ask.
Yeah.
It was actually that she was mutual friends with Lyle, and I was like, I don't have a date, and I don't have anyone to ask. I don't really fancy anyone to, courageously pluck up the courage.
Yeah.
And I don't have just anyone else. So it's like, guys, can't go without a date. Who should I ask? Oh, you should ask Mandy. She'd love to come along and just be with all her friends. So then I think I just sent her a text, just being like, do you wanna go to the Debs? And she texted back going, yeah, great.
So your mates were going with her mates, was that what it was? And she was like, you guys were like the odd ones out, so was that what it was?
No, not entirely.
Okay.
Not entirely, but
Did you get a limo there?
no, God, no.
Oh, what sort of transport did you get to the venue? Did your mum just drive you?
I think she did, yeah. I think she did.
What sort of car did you have?
Huh? A Toyota Corolla. You're making this out to be way more exciting.
We
didn't do any of that.
We had people arriving.
I don't think Castlebar could take us. No, that's not true.
We had people arriving in like party buses. We had a group arrived in a fire engine, right? We had stretch Hummers. We had stretch limos, right? I arrived in like a BMW that was driven by some guy that like we went to church with. Like one of the dads from church had like this nice.
I thought you were building up to say. I was like, I parachuted in.
Yeah.
with my date, we did like a tandem parachute in. It was fucking amazing.
At one point,
right as I landed, fireworks went off.
Something
Your entrance music hit like you're a wrestler or something. Just like, if you smell,
Ladies, welcome to the 2012 Wellington Point State High School School Formal. Buddy Shaw. And I was like, something I still want to do though. That was a terrible intro. I don't know why I did that.
But we didn't. Like, first of all, how big was your school?
Like in general, like the whole school or just my year level?
Either.
Okay, so the school was just shy of 1,000, I believe. Okay. And my year level was about 180.
Okay, so we're not actually that different. There was about 100 people in my year.
Okay.
About 700.
Did you think there'd be more at my school?
Well, I thought are you not a city boy? I thought you were a city dweller, because I come from a very small town. So there was a few there was 3 different schools, because there was like the boys' school, the girls' school, and the mixed school.
Mm.
So like, just because I'm from a small town, I figured that you might be. Like my primary school,
like I was
had
outside
40 people
of the
total.
city. I was outside. So I was born in New Zealand, right, in a very, very small town. 40,000 people in the whole town. That was it. And then we lived like outside, had like a beach house and everything. So it was a sweet life. And then when we moved to Brisbane, I was still like an hour on the train outside of Brisbane. So you have to.
Even though you said it was a sweet life, I feel like every step you've made have just been downhill.
Yeah.
I was in New Zealand in this beautiful, picturesque countryside, idealised upbringing. Then I moved to a bullshit city, but there was still sun. And now I live in Manchester, and it's shit.
I really have taken a lot of backward steps in terms of location, but I feel like my life gets better, if that makes sense. So I do more things here. I never did comedy like I do comedy here in Australia. I never did podcasting like I did. I've never done all these things. So that part's getting better. But then you just look outside. There's like the horrible air pollution, the terrible weather, the horrible teeth, the accents, the people. So it's a real up and down. Why did you come here?
You started off very forgiving. So, there's a bit of pollution and it's a bit cold. And then the people are the worst.
Mate,
those crooked teeth.
People from Lancashire can just go and fuck themselves, mate.
Did you die on your ass in Lancashire?
No, this whole area.
Oh, the whole county.
Yeah.
Not just the town.
Yeah. I prefer Yorkshire, but I can't get there. But it is what it is. How did you end up here? Why did you?
Just something to do, man.
Really?
Yeah.
That's literally how I ended up here. But I made a way bigger leap.
Yeah. That's what I didn't. I was unemployed for a while. Well, I was doing comedy, but I was unemployed. I had been for ages. I'd been unemployed for ages, so it was like, oh, my CV's shit. So what I might do is I might go back and do a master's degree in history. And then
that's a way to get a job.
No, but I didn't want a job. I wanted a year where I wasn't unemployed. And it was just like, let's do what I wish I had studied in the first place. Because I didn't study history. So
What did you study?
I studied
Ancient history.
well, without getting actually, yeah, but without getting too into it. My main thing was sociology and political science. So I did that, but wanted to have done history. So I went, and then it was like, well, if I decide to go back to uni, I'm not restricted by Ireland. I could apply for anywhere, so I applied to Manchester. And it was just like, all right, if I'm going to go back to uni, where do I want to go back to uni? And do I want to leave? Do I want to go somewhere else? Do I want to just do something different? So it had nothing to do with like I was unemployed, but it wasn't like, oh, I'm an economic immigrant. I was struggling away in the slums of Dublin, just like eking out, oh, penny for some bread, sir. I was literally in my very, very nice apartment, lovely apartment for a bum, for an unemployed bum, in a very, very nice, borderline posh part of Dublin.
How did you afford this?
Well, I had quite a small bedroom.
Okay.
So I was in the small bedroom of a 2-bed that had like, obviously like main bedroom, and then there was like my crappy little single bedroom. And the person who had the big bedroom I lived with a friend of mine called Keiran. Okay. And because she had the big bedroom, she took the bulk of the rent in a fairly big way.
Okay.
So I was able to go for, and I was, I don't know what the statute of limitations is, if the Irish government are listening, but I was doing a lot of money on the side comedy work. So I was on the dole, but I was doing comedy and getting cash in hand. Most of my gigs were cash in hand. So I was always able to just stay above board that way. So I wasn't struggling. I was only struggling in the...
What direction is your life taking?
I need to fill my days. Because it was just YouTube videos. And it would have been different if it would have been like... I sometimes think if I could go back and live that part of my life now, it's not even that like, I'd knuckle down and try and get a job harder, earlier, or anything. It'd be like, I'd appreciate this free time and I try and read more or watch, watch all the classic films, become a bit of a
savant.
A bit of a savant, yeah, exactly. But I didn't. I fucking wanked my fucking life away and watched YouTube videos in between. And it's like, this is just shit.
Is this where your joke about wanking over Judge Judy comes from?
No, but that's a brand new joke. I think I did that first time in Giggle Gang, like a month ago. That was the first time I'd ever done it. But it's truer of me 5 years ago than it is now. So do you feel like
you've become more successful now? Do you feel like your life has more purpose?
Well, yeah, but I wasn't doing much comedy in the... So I when I moved over here, I did comedy for the first year, because part of me was thinking, I'll do comedy and maybe we'll see how that goes. But then I got a real job, and I'd been so long of just doing nothing and then just going to a gig at night. Then when I had a real job 9 to 5, finishing that and going straight to a gig actually seemed very draining. So I wasn't doing comedy for ages. So now that I'm trying to get back into comedy, trying to take it more seriously, trying to write stuff, because then I got bored of my material as well and I wasn't writing anything. So it's just...
That's where I'm at the moment. But we can't talk about comedy too much on this podcast.
No, I think that's fair enough.
Because the reason is that most of the people that listen to this already know that you do comedy. And they know that you were a waster for 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know if they do. Because another thing is, although we won't talk about comedy that much, but part of this now is I've started going back doing a lot of open mic nights and doing a lot of... And there's 2 reasons for that. One is I need to do new material, because I'm never going to get back into it if I'm still doing all the old jokes. But it's hard because they work. Yeah. So it's hard to dispose of them. But another big point is people have forgot I exist. It moves quite quickly. If you stop doing comedy for a year, you'll very quick, even though
very easily forgotten.
People know and love you, but it moves on, new people start.
Even now, I feel like I'm out of touch with it.
Yeah, they're not gonna... No, you're very in touch with it. Because you book your own night, you do your podcast, you know what's happening.
I know what's happening, but like even like I felt like it was a smaller group, and I like knew everyone. I knew where I was going to see them and everything. And I feel like people are sort of splintering off. Everyone's sort of starting their own shit, and I'm just not going out and doing as many gigs. I'm just.
But see, this is because you started it. You would have started with a group. A lot of people starting at the same time as you, going to the exact same nights. But very quickly, even, you know, people who, even though they seem like really good, and you might think, oh, they might really be somebody, they seem one of the best people. Be very, like, quickly people will disappear, fall out of love with this. Some people will be so good they'll get successful quicker, and all of a sudden you won't see them at the random Tuesday night open mic because they'll be starting to get paid work around the place. So immediately you get the like, oh my, I'm only a year in, but that core group that I thought will be a comedy clique forever, they disappear. So imagine you pull yourself out of it, go back in. Not only have a million new people started, but all the cliques have
disintegrated.
I might be talking shite now, but you're
pretty spot on. You are spot on.
You do not get forgotten. Like, people will go, oh, I haven't seen you in ages. What the hell's happened? But you know, you're lying to yourself is to think.
I remember when I was
they'll be crying out for you.
When I was introduced to you, Paul Campbell said to me, "There's this Irish guy, Keiran Lawless, and he was getting paid gigs like a few years ago, and he hasn't done it for ages, but he was really funny." And I was like, "All right,
yeah,
send him across." And then that was it. This is how this started. You know, I saw a guy. Yeah. Is it a tuba that you're holding in your profile picture?
It's actually a sousaphone. A sousaphone? What the fuck are they called again?
A bassoon?
No, a sousaphone.
A sousaphone?
Yeah, one of those big, huge.
Do you know how to play it?
No, fuck no. I was just at a wedding that had a brass band, and I was like, "Hey, bro, you know, it'd be great if you let me have a go." And he, against all logic and sense, he said, "All right."
So did you have a blow?
Yeah, I had a good go.
What happened?
Well, no music came out, I'll tell you that. A noise happened, but music didn't. It sounded like I was playing a didgeridoo more than it sounded like I was playing. Just like a... It's like, this is meant to be like a beautiful brass instrument. You should play with like nice jazz music.
Do you know how to do the trumpet lips? Like, you know how you like purse your lips and like...
No, not really.
I don't know how to do it. I don't even know if that's correct. But are you very musical? Did you come from a musical family?
Absolutely not.
Really?
But I do. I've started playing the guitar again.
Okay.
I had a guitar when I was like 16.
Is this in an attempt to get women?
No, God, no. No, because I don't have any intention. Because even if I get really good, I have I have an awful singing voice. So even if I get really good, it's like, I could start doing musical comedy. Nobody's going to want to hear that shit. Like, nobody.
Have you ever thought about playing the guitar and just talking?
Yeah, some people do.
Because Irish people, I feel like, have a very, like, musically voice, you know?
Yeah, but if you're going to have it's very good having a lovely lyrical voice that sounds so pleasing on the ear.
You're like, dum 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 dum.
Yeah,
so my name is Keiran.
Yeah, the problem with that is if it doesn't match the music, which it wouldn't, you would listen to me play the guitar and talk and go, he is the first person I've ever seen talk. That's how shit my voice actually is. So to be in that. So no, I'm not bringing my guitar playing into the public sphere.
Really?
But it's just a thing of like, I've twice in my life started learning the guitar and then stopped. So now I'm a bit more like, no, let's fucking do it. It's a cool thing to do. Because I was thinking, there's two things. I've always wanted to either learn a foreign language or play guitar. Mm-hmm. Just pick one of them. If I pick both of them, because I'm very prone to that kind of, I'm going to make a list of things I'm going to achieve and then make this huge list
Too
that
long
becomes
to
so
achieve.
vast that you end up doing none of them. Whereas you're better off going, I'm going to do one or two things.
5 is a good number. When I came to England, I set out 5 goals that I wanted to do, and I achieved 4 of them.
Ooh. What were the 5 things?
They're on my phone, but it was like things to do with comedy, to do with relationships, to do with like fighting and physical fitness, and then like weight loss and diet were like the main things that I was interested in.
Which one have you failed?
So
I feel like you're going to say fighting, although part of me thinks I just watched you down a bottle of Buckfast. You just might not remember. I achieved. I come home with a black eye every night, but I don't feel like I'm fighting enough.
So what I did is I signed up to do a charity boxing fight, right? And it got to the final week, so the week of the fight, and they're like matching you up. So you'd all train together, right, for 8 weeks, and it gets to the point where we're getting matched up, and they cotton on that I don't know anyone in this country, and I hadn't sold any of the tickets. So we'd been like sparring, I've been doing like, I was so ready to go, and he was like, you haven't sold any tickets. I was like, I have no friends. Like I have no one to sell them to. And the 2 people I knew that lived here with me were going to Switzerland that weekend. So I was like, I hadn't started comedy, I didn't know anybody, and they were like, we can't have you fight unless you buy the tickets yourself, which was 30 quid a ticket. So it was 300 quid to fight like an accountant from Salford in this like charity boxing match.
Did they need an even number of people though? You're like, but the accountant from Salford will have no one to fight if I don't fight him.
I don't know how they did it,
like,
but they just,
nah.
I think there was a few people that might not have made the ticket allocation. And then I went back to try and do it again. But that was when I was doing comedy, and basically I went and we had a sparring session, and there was a guy who was very, very big. Like I'm big, but he was like as tall as me, but actually had like proper muscle and real strength. And he smacked me in the face so hard that I forgot where I was, and I was like, maybe I'll just stick with comedy. That seems like, fun and less risk at the time. So I just sort of steered away from it. I am interested, like I have a kickboxing class that I go to now, so I am interested in it, but like the competing aspect, for what I want to do, the amount of talking I do, the amount of content I produce, I need to be sharp in the head. And if I'm getting battered around on my days
Very
off,
sensible of you. God.
Yeah. So I like the idea of the sport, but the actual, physical ramifications on my brain, even though I'm not like high level fucking competing, just getting hit by anybody is not fun, like long term.
I've never been in a fight.
Really?
In my life, no.
Yeah.
It's not my... So tell me this.
Yes.
I've many questions.
Okay. Why don't you interview me for the next bit?
Oh, no, that's what I wanted it to be from the bloody beginning.
Okay, because I've really taken control, and I find it hard to give it up. So, I'm giving it over to you now.
I'm fascinated by several aspects of this.
Okay.
So, number one, you made that list when you came to the country.
I made it just before I made it.
Just before?
Yeah, before.
But you had never done comedy in Australia?
I'd done one gig in Bond.
Ah, right.
But I'd hosted events. So I would host, my university that I did through my degree had like an end of year ball thing. I was the host of that. They had a music festival. I was like the MC for the music festival. I'd done like events for the uni. I'd MC'd weddings before. So I was quite comfortable being on stage, and I have a background in radio for 7 years. So I had the experience. I've just never done the actual task of standing up.
I think that's interesting, because did you... When you were leaving, was it a case of, I'm going almost as far away as I can go, I can be a new person? Was there a slight element of like, not like, oh, my parents are going to be like, oh, we're going to come to one of your gigs, and friends come along and go, you're so lame doing comedy. Were you like, I'm going to be so far away, I can be a new man?
I would have started comedy, so that didn't bother me. I would have started comedy in Brisbane if there was comedy shows, if there was as many as there was here. There was like 3 a month, and they didn't get an audience. Like, you just rock up in a pub and people just be eating their dinner, and all of a sudden a comedy night just appears. So what I want to do is, when I go back, take all the knowledge I have from here, because there's funny people that want to get up on stage. So I want to start running gong shows, I want to get venues and everything, and just start running it properly, because right now...
Take over Brisbane comedy.
Absolutely, because no one's doing it, and no one's doing it properly. Like, there's pro nights, but there's no, like, amateur scene at all.
Because it's all in Melbourne and Sydney, right?
Yeah, well, even there, like, Melbourne and Sydney are bigger, but Australia is just a weird place for comedy. Like, it's
also,
not
how
like
much weight did you lose?
I was 24 and a half stone, and now I'm 15, so that's
Wow.
9.5 stone.
9.5 stone.
Which
and did
is
you do...
56 kilograms for Australian listeners.
Yes. Sorry, I will need to translate
I was-
for all our Aussie.
I need to do stone.
And if you're in
accent.
Western Australia, piss off. Perth, what a dump. It's a shithole, mate. What are you going to do? Come after me? You're in the middle of nowhere, bro.
I need to isolate that.
If you had any friends, you'd move to a city closer to other people.
Oh my god, that was. Oh my god, you've actually killed me.
Fucking Perth.
Jesus Christ, that was so funny.
I used to go out with the girl from Perth. She was lovely.
Really? What was her name?
Her name was Helen.
Helen. Why do you date women with such old names?
I'm an old man. They can't all be Consuela or whatever you call it. I don't
Sandra.
know. Yeah. Listen, I come from a generation behind yours.
Really?
You're a young man.
Are you
Did
still
you
interviewing me?
I want to know, did you do any fad diet?
Yes. Well, no, because it wasn't a fad diet. It was a fucking diet that worked. It was very strict.
I don't mean...
Do you want to know how to lose weight? Do you want? Is this what you're looking for?
I'm currently doing... So, I'm for Lent, which is why I brought you Easter eggs, but then was like, they're all for you, don't open them, I don't even... Well, I didn't say you can open them, but I was like, I'm not having any of them. And you were, I've got Bookfast for you, and I was like, no booze. Just for Lent, not for religious reasons, purely for lose the gut reasons.
Because you are a fat piece of shit.
I'm a fat lump of lard. Yeah, I'm a whale of a human.
And it isn't helping by the fact that you're so small.
I'm so short. It's like...
I've never seen someone so
like
small be so big.
It's so weird. Wider than I am tall. It's so depressing.
He's the walking rectangle.
Yeah, I tell you what. I'm the inspiration for some Mr. Min characters. You know, like... It's just disgusting.
So what's the diet you're doing?
So I'm currently in ketosis.
Yes, that's the
I'm
diet I
doing
did.
a keto diet.
Yeah,
Really?
it's a bloody good diet, mate. It fucking works. What are you actually eating though? Like what do you have for breakfast?
Like bacon, eggs. That's typically breakfast.
Okay,
Then-
you can bolster that up, right, with the amount of fat and everything from the bacon. Put in some kale, chop up some peppers, onions, and mushrooms, and also bacon and like a nice meaty sausage as well,
I've done the odd sausages.
or an omelette.
I do. Yeah, I've started eating like omelets or scrambled eggs, stuff like that. So eggs have really increased in my diet in a big way.
You don't want to hit the protein too hard though, so because eggs are high in protein, not in fat, you need to balance out your protein. So your diet should be 70% fat, 25% protein, and 5% carbohydrates. So you still do need the tiniest bit of carbohydrates, and like in a sausage, for example, there'll be a little bit of carbohydrates, but let's say it's 4 grams per 100, but it's 30 grams of fat per 100. The payoff is so much more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to balance it out. If you want to talk about keto, I'll talk about it all day.
Yeah. Well, like I'm not. It's really an experiment.
Have you got through the keto flu yet? Have you got through the hard
So
bit?
I didn't have the keto flu.
Really?
Yeah, I had some like minor withdrawal symptoms, like bit of like headaches and stuff, just from no sugar. Just because I used to have so much sugar. I take 4 sugars in my tea.
What?
Yeah, so I'm like massively cutting down. So I had some little withdrawal headaches, but nothing much.
Sugar
And the thing
is-
is, I know I'm to the point where, and I wasn't going to do anything like this, but when I got worried that I hadn't had that, I like went on Amazon and bought like the piss strips.
Yep.
So you can pee to test.
I used to
because I was
do it
like,
every 2 days.
I need to make sure I'm actually doing this right.
And did it go brown?
Yeah, it went kind of purpley.
Oh, are they purple now? Mine were brown. It was like yellow and then it would turn brown.
No, but
The strip. But yeah,
mine was like a purpley. I'm not in like extreme ketosis, but I'm in fairly high in. Unless I drink a lot of water. So if I drink a lot of water, it doesn't seem to work. Because I've done a couple of times where I haven't. Because obviously, as part of this, I've tried to drink way more water, just as a general like keep it healthy.
if you can cut out these, then you're winning. But that is a great substitute if you can.
put these back in. I hadn't done any soft drinks. Just so people know what the hell we're talking about. I'm
It's
currently
Pepsi Max.
drinking a Pepsi Max. I had cut out soft drinks altogether.
Yeah.
So for the first 3 weeks, I didn't do any.
So how long have you been doing it for?
So I've been doing it. So it started on the 6th of March.
And you've not broken. You've not had any sugar or any carbs.
No, I haven't done.
Do you feel so much better?
I've
'Cause
lost. I've lost weight.
God, I felt like a god when I was on it. I didn't need as much sleep. I would wake up when I would train. I would be I'd have so much more energy. Like every time I would eat, it would I'd feel myself getting stronger and stronger. I could feel myself burning. I had longer lasting energy. I wouldn't have the slump in the back half of the day. So, you start off the morning, you get to just after lunchtime, you get that slump. I'd never slump. I'd go hard from 6 in the morning to 11 at night.
Well, you see, I haven't really had this. But the thing about this is, because so many people talk about this, oh, you're boundful energy, it's just amazing. They talk about this fucking, you're going to be a Superman. And in a way, I don't feel like that.
Are you exercising?
Well, yeah, because I'm running the Manchester 10K in May.
Okay.
So the thing is, my training for that's actually going really well. Probably better than I thought. And I don't know if that's to do with keto. If I wanted to be because I'm trying the keto out, but I'm not some people think if you listen to Joe Rogan, it's so poster boy for the whole thing. It's so this is amazing, you got to do this, guys, you'll be a different man, a different world. Well, I'm not that, so I'm not going to falsely put things down to keto. But the fact that I'm training for this run and I'm further ahead than I thought I would be, maybe that's keto.
Everything comes down to your diet. Everything in your life comes down to your diet.
But I don't bounce out of bed though every morning.
Do you feel you're more mentally clear? You can think clearer. Things come to you easier. Thoughts and what have you. Your brain is sort of working quicker.
So again, not necessarily, not in a very conscious way, but because I'm on this kind of general self-improvement kick, which includes all right, I'm gonna diet for this. So it ends on Easter Sunday. So I'm doing 6th of March till
what you should do
the 21st
is break for 2 days, eat whatever you want,
and cycle back on,
and then just go straight back on. Because the getting back on will become easier. So it used to take me 5 days to get into ketosis when I first started doing it. I did it for a whole year. So I'd do it, I'd break, I'd do it, I'd break. By the end, I could get back in less than 2 days.
Well, that's the healthier way to do it, isn't it? Because some people have real question marks over the health of this, and I don't want to do it at the cost of.
It's fine.
But in terms of my mental capacity, I've been trying to read more, and I've found that I like reading when I'm doing it, but I find it very difficult to start. Reading's the kind of thing that I have to. It's not a hobby that I just bounce into with love. I love reading all my books. It's no, I need to force myself a bit to do it. But then when I'm doing it, it's good.
Are you dyslexic?
No.
Oh. See, I'm horribly dyslexic. So I'm just scared to read, if that makes sense. Reading is just a difficult thing to think about. So I have a book in there that I've promised my housemate that I'm going to read for maybe a year, and I've not touched it.
What's the book?
It's a book on leadership by Sir Alex Ferguson.
Ah, yes. Very good.
It looks like a good book. I just love a film, so I could, not read. But
well, yeah, that's it. It's. Well, I've had to force it higher in terms of my hobbies, enjoyable hobbies. But yeah, there is a big part of me just going, I just prefer to watch a film, lash out a film in an hour and a half or 2 hours. It then takes me fucking weeks to read this goddamn thing.
Yeah.
Can I just read the Wikipedia page and watch the film?
I used to listen to audiobooks, so the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
I listened to all of the Hunger Games.
I've seen the films. Obviously, I haven't read the bloody books.
No, well, I read the books on audiobook, so I didn't read them, but it was I quite enjoyed it. It was each book was probably, I think, about 9 hours of audio. So I just put it on, and in a couple of days, I just listened to it to and from school in the evenings, whatever. And then I would have got through a whole story, and it's oh, exciting.
You can get audiobooks of everything now.
Yeah.
So Sir Alex Ferguson, leadership.
Yeah.
Although it's probably good because if this is a thing you're
I prefer a podcast.
scared
though.
of,
Yeah. I
then
prefer
maybe
a
it's just good to fight through that anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's not like you have to do an exam at the end of the damn thing. So if it's just a case of, I have this like
I also
fear
don't
of books.
allow myself much free time.
Well, yeah, you're a busy man
Yeah.
because you always seem to be on the go.
I'm probably
Like
the
you just started your
busiest person.
YouTubey thing.
I'm filming this afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm going straight from here to film more shit, to then go and run a comedy night tonight, to then go and work a full-time job tomorrow.
yeah. So you're all so I can, and of course, to some people, reading would be the perfect downtime at the end of all that. But if you're dyslexic and a bit worried about books anyway,
I just rather
it's probably
sleep.
just the most anxiety-ridden moment of your whole day would be
Yeah.
the bloody book.
I get less anxious performing to 300 people in a comedy club than I do in reading a book by myself.
It's fair, but that's sometimes the way it works.
Sometimes.
And running a gig, I don't envy you. But
Why? Do you not like running gigs?
no, I ran one gig. But I've seen you. Remember that gig about a month ago? Not the last gig gang I did, the one before, where we had quite a strong lineup. But obviously, it's a new material night, and people were doing new material. And there was 3 or 4 of us that you knew were really good comedians, but were all doing like really kind of new.
Was that when I was
poorly
getting angry at
and
people?
you were just clearly just down the back going, you dickheads, like, I know you have jokes that'll work, do one of your jokes that'll fucking work. And I was there like, I'm just gonna like freestyle this, I don't even have material planned, but I still don't want to do my old stuff, so instead I'm just gonna chat about my day. And you were like, what about a joke though? Just one joke, please, Keiran, just finish on a joke. And he was actually very good. He didn't do that bad. I can't remember his name, but there was a magician on,
Oh, yes.
and he decided
He's emceeing tonight.
he didn't want to do any of his magic. He just wanted to do a straight set, which is fine. And he wasn't even doing that badly. But just your like hatred for your
I think
night.
I think he's the guy who I do the YouTube shit with, and I think I just said, get the cards out.
No, well, maybe that was the quote. But what you said was, he turned to you and went, how long do I have left? And you went, about 2 minutes. And he was like, okay, and started doing that. And you were like, do you just want to close with the trick, mate? just do what you're good at, you arsehole. This is my night and my audience.
Close with the trick.
Do one thing of the thing you're good at.
Well, there's
and
2
stop
magicians
ruining
on
my
tonight,
night.
and I've told them they're not allowed to do any comedy.
Classic advice on a stand-up comedy night.
Absolutely. Just do your fucking magic tricks, mate. Like, they're so good. And I love magic so much more than I love comedy. So, just do it for me. Do what I enjoy.
Yeah.
And
what I really enjoy is my night not being ruined by your self-indulgent bullshit. Do a fucking trick, mate.
And how you say that my night is a new material night. It's not really a new material night. It's only a new material night if that new material is good.
Yeah. Sorry, just a disclaimer.
Yes. There are other places where you can go where you don't have to book months in advance to get on stage,
Yeah.
There are other places where you can walk up and there you can bring your notepad and your pen and try things out on stage,
Yeah, it's classic FM at Maddie's show.
Oh.
Just do your classics, do your best bits. That's it.
Fuck off.
How many times? Yeah, you should have you have to send your set to Maddie before each gig.
Yeah.
With how many times you've done it before. And if you've done it less than 5 times, that means it hasn't passed.
Would you perform? I know we're not supposed to talk about comedy, but fuck it. It's my podcast. Go fuck yourselves.
Perth.
Would you
Fucking Perth.
Would you perform at a night where the promoter wanted to see your set before you arrived?
You see, here's the thing, and it's not that. Well, that you send them videos, but then they don't say that's what you have to do. The thing about that is, probably no, but the reality is it depends on the gig. I mean, if you do TV, they're going to ask you, you're going to have to pass that. If you ever got to do the Tonight Show in America, if it all took off for you, you have to do your set to the empty studio so they can time you and pass everything. Make sure you're not saying anything offensive. They might ask you, loads of comedians have stories of, they ask them to change words. Just like, can you change this bit? Or, oh, that's a joke there about a condition that affects people. Do you mind? I don't know if you've ever seen the Jerry Seinfeld documentary comedian, I think it's called, where they follow his return to comedy. But they also follow, I can't remember his name now, but another comedian as he's kind of building to his success. And like it builds to him his first Tonight Show, but they make him change a joke. Like his joke was like, he mentions lupus, but they make him change it to like some other medical condition that's maybe less horrible or something. So it's like, do you mind changing that word, because do you mind just lightening that bit up to like a less serious medical
What's lupus? What?
I don't even know.
Oh, right. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
I
imagine it's like leprosy, but maybe it's just because they both start with L's. I don't know.
Maybe you just think everything's leprosy.
Yeah, I think I might have leprosy.
Yeah, that's it. It's actually a blister. And you're like, I get leprosy. Oh, shit. It's all leprosy.
Do you wish that you were born in a different time to right now? Like, do you wish you were born in like the 30s or the 1800s or?
Absolutely not.
Really?
Absolutely not. If I was going to be born in a different time, I'd be born slightly later. I wish I was born in the 90s and was younger now.
Really?
Yeah. First of all, I have a master's in history, and let me tell you, we live in the best time. It's not great. A lot of shit to sort out, but we live in the best time. Name another. What time would you rather be born at?
Probably like the 1960s.
1960s.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think that?
Because there was no cell phones, right?
There was no cell phones. There was a bit of a Cold War, but there was no cell phones.
Okay.
Nuclear war was potential. There was like the Cuban Missile Crisis, which nearly blew up the planet. But aside from that, gone. No cell phones. That's a trade-off for
the music.
nuclear war,
The music was good.
which still exists. You can still listen to it.
No,
It's like that music's still around to listen. Now you have Spotify, where you don't even have to buy that shit. You just have. You would have been there going, "Oh man, I wish I could listen to the Beatles on a record player of low quality, because there's not enough scratching. I wish I could put it onto a scratchy record
What about
and
like
listen
the
to
parties?
Love Me Do."
What about the parties, like the raves and all the fun parties? And like the cops, like no one knew anyone. People were just scamming people left, right, and center. There was no like credit cards or anything. It was all just, you know, checks and balances.
Basically, you just want to be a criminal, and you're worried that there's too much. The police are too good now. That's what you're worried about.
They just know everything about you. In the 60s, you could just like disappear. Like if you just wanted to just go, you could just disappear. They probably didn't even have passports back then. You could just like, you know, move freely. You probably traveled places on boats. Like
Again, boats still exist. Planes are quicker and better. That's actually.
like, imagine like a 2-week boat trip, and then you're in like, you know, California.
Also, like, are you still going to be born in Brisbane? You'd be
Oh,
like,
if I was born in New Zealand, I think it would be really fun. Like the small town I was in. But then, like, you know, I probably... Imagine if I knew what I knew now,
Yeah.
but I was born in the 60s.
well, I do have frequent fantasies about, like, going back, you know, starting my life again at 14 or whatever, but knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
That's a long running.
You say fantasies like there's a sexual element to it.
What? No, actually, because I've way thought this through. One of the worst elements about it is I'd be 14 with my adult brain, and I don't. This is not a creepy way to become a paedophile, because then I'd be a 14-year-old, but I wouldn't be able to get adult women. I couldn't get 14-year-old girls when I was 14. I don't give a shit what brain I have. 14-year-old Keiran,
Do you reckon
not getting
that-
any 25-year-old girl. So I'd have to just not chase women. I'd have to like
Don't
not
you reckon
talk
with,
to women.
No, don't you reckon with the knowledge that you have now, but in a 14-year-old body, in a 14-year-old world, you would be able to woo some 14-year-olds?
Yes, but that's creepy because I'd know that I'm 30. I'd know
No, but
I'd
you'd
have.
be 14.
I know, and I wouldn't tell anyone because I once talked about this fantasy with somebody, and their first thing was we were like, "Oh, I have that as well," and he started going, "First thing I do, let the people I need to know that I know." Like, I'll, you know, get my parents, drop in some clues to let them know. I was like, you can't tell anyone. That ruins everything. You get sectioned immediately. I'm actually a 33-year-old from the future. If I told somebody that in 1999, he also, right, he's an American guy, and he's lovely, one of the nice guys. But he also said, and I was like, this is where I dropped the conversation. I was like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know how to do this. He was like, second thing I do, because we're about the same age, so it's like, oh, if I went back to 14, That'd be about 99. I'd try and let people know about 9/11. I'd try and let them know it's coming. And I'm like, you really believe that if you, as a 14-year-old, called the Pentagon and said, there's a guy called Osama bin Laden and he's going to get planes, they'd be like, hey, imagine if it was an inside job and you, as a 14-year-old, phoned them up and told them their plan. Like, how fucking shit would that?
I was just about to say, you
And I
don't
don't
have to ring them and tell them. They already knew.
Yeah. Like, what if it was? Like, I don't think it was an inside plan, right? I'm not a truther.
It was
But I'm
definitely.
just saying, imagine if it was and you, a year prior, as a 12-year-old.
I don't think they planned it, but they definitely facilitated it and did nothing to stop it.
Oh, tell you what. Your podcast career is going to really take off.
Why?
Alex Jones. The new Alex Jones.
I've got nothing on
What
Alex
about-
Jones. He's a god, mate.
What do you think about the sexuality of frogs? What do you think about them?
I don't
A lot
know.
more gays in the frogs, aren't they? I'd like to say that I'm being... He started talking about how the frogs were being turned gay because of the chemicals that they were...
What?
Yeah, that's
I've
an
never
Alex
seen
Jones... No, look up Alex Jones gay frogs. This is not a thing I'm making up, alright? They've got chemicals, they're turning the frogs gay. It's the thing. But yeah, the point is...
Chemicals. Who is they?
The government! They is always the government. Or the Illuminati.
Oh my god.
The Illuminati.
The government thinks there's too many straight frogs.
Yeah. The government, when they're not, facilitating illegal paedophile rings. I don't know why I said illegal before paedophile. It's kind of implied. But, I'm on a rant here.
Keep going.
So, they're obviously the government, while having sex with children, are worrying that there's too many straight frogs. Actually, I think the fact that the chemicals are turning frogs, that might just be a byproduct of the chemicals.
Yeah, the chemicals might be like
It's not. I don't
weed
think.
killer or
Yeah,
something.
I don't think they've developed frog gaining chemicals.
Can you imagine the clinical trials?
We've got to test it out on people first.
They've got all these rats, right, that they're testing it on, and they're like, man, these rats aren't as gay as we expected. One of them comes out in like a fucking fedora with a bit of silk on. They're like, we've got it. Give it to the frogs.
We've got 4 rats over there doing the YMCA. This is a success.
Were the village people gay?
Surely. If it turns out they weren't.
I thought they just like staying in hostels. Isn't that what the YMCA is?
Yes.
It's just a backpackers hostel, isn't it?
Yeah, but I think it's where they used to go. I don't know. What other time would you like to live in?
It seems like you do know.
Australian history is shit anyway.
Yeah, let's not go into that though.
It's the worst.
Yeah, we were bad people. It wasn't. I wasn't there. I was in New Zealand. Touching sheep and building lighthouses.
Oh, it's way more romantic.
Yeah, it was.
Don't let the chemicals near those sheep or they'll start
No.
rejecting you.
I turned the sheep straight.
Because I did tell you, the last time I seen you, I did tell you that at one stage in Australia's immigration policy was that they were trying to only let in like really beautiful people.
I know. That's
They
why
had-
I got in.
They had 2 criteria, basically. They let in British people or beautiful people. That was
because otherwise, then we'd never let any British people in. Have you looked outside?
What?
Have you seen what these people look like?
I have, yeah.
Have you? How many British women have you dated?
Only 2.
Okay. And were either of them above a 5?
Yeah, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Your vision is skewed. You wear glasses. You can't be trusted.
Yeah, these might be broken.
Oh,
Just
it's
a big crack where I could see like 6 of the same girl.
The only beautiful English woman I've ever seen is my girlfriend. That is it. That is where. That is where it stops.
Brilliant.
Every-
And do you know what that tells me? Do you know what makes that really romantic? Is what this tells me is she listens to this podcast. Because otherwise, I don't think you'd have paused to say. I think this was a really like. I just like to let everyone know that my girlfriend is very beautiful. And
She is though.
yeah, I'm not questioning it. You're the one questioning the
Do you want me to
entire
get her out
nation.
here?
No.
I'll bring her out here. I'll parade her around like a horse at the Grand National.
Yeah. If she trips, you're going to shoot her.
I'm a very violent lover.
Yeah, that's why she likes you though.
I know. 'Cause she does like Bad Boys. And do you know what I did though? You know how like girls are excited by someone who doesn't play by the rules?
Yeah.
I made a vegetarian linguine the other day.
Oh my god, even I'm turned on.
And instead of just putting in vegetables, I put in a wide variety of meat substitutes. So we had fake duck, fake chicken, and fake mince within this linguine.
Wow.
She loved it.
Of course she did.
I broke all the culinary rules. When have you ever heard of someone mixing duck, chicken, and mince in a pasta?
I've only heard it once, and it was by
Today.
a good-looking rebel. They could pick up all the chicks.
That's me, isn't it?
It is you.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It'd be rough. If I was talking about Barry down the road, that would be awful.
Yeah.
No, you know Barry.
No,
He's very good.
I don't actually. No, I do know a man called Barry. We won't go into that though. We've done over an hour, Keiran.
Oh dear.
Does it seem like it?
Doesn't seem like it. I don't really remember what we've talked about.
No. Do you want to go on one last like Irish rant? You had an Irish rant before about why Irish people are so proud.
Well, no, it wasn't. No, you see, now it seems like I've pre-planned.
But why do Irish people feel like they are so fucking special?
No, we don't. We don't. That's why we have to really like nail in on like anyone who's in any way special. So you asked me about Jim Owen because he's like really successful in Australia, but like nobody this side of the world really knows who he is. And I just pointed out that like Ireland has tried to make him famous a little bit. He had a half-hour special on Irish TV, and it really was just Irish TV going, we have somebody who's a somebody. Why aren't we telling everybody, look at our somebody? And like that's what we do, which is because then I was like, that's why like Conor McGregor, even though like he's been on a long run of dickheadery now, like he's been a proper douche for the last while, but we're really resistant on like turning on him. We're still super behind him in our sport, and it's like, oh yeah, but what about the fact that he's been quite racist and Islamophobic recently? And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand. He's an Irish person who people know, so we have to be like, he's the best, because we just love anyone who's mildly famous outside of Ireland. We have to be like, holy shit, we've got one. We've got him.
Why is it that Ireland, the small country that it is, has managed to put itself in every country in the world in the way of Irish pubs, Irish people? Like, it seems like you've got more Irish people than you could fit in the country, so you had to like spread it out. Are you guys just big breeders, or?
Yeah, that's what it is. We do amazingly things with meat substitutes and pastas. So wherever we go, it's just, you just do that and then it's just boning. Like, that's what that is. Just so like you put in the right meat substitutes and they want some real meat. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, I wish I hadn't said that. Edit that out. Edit that bit out.
I can't. There's no editing.
Oh, fuck. Sorry, Perth.
We're ending on that. No, fuck Perth.
Fuck Perth.
Tell Perth what you really think of it to finish.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Perth, but fuck you.